From a 21st century perspective, what I'm interested in is the responsibility of youth workers to engage with young people in the digital world, to promote digital but also life and social literacies. Youth workers work as informal educators, working with the starting points that young people bring. One of those starting points in today's world is the digital habitus of young people, and this comes with its own challenges in relation to current practice, as well as how to keep up with rapidly changing innovations, fads and crazes. There are many stereotypes of young people, not just related to their engagement in the digital world, but also in relation to their aspirations and motivation in general. Youth workers work alongside young people to identify their interests and to help support their learning and development in an informal way. The digital world should therefore be no different to the street corner or the youth centre. Youth workers work hard to try to promote positive images of young people, which might relate to specific issues such as antisocial behaviour, but also relating to more general issues. Digital media provides us with some powerful tools, not least because young people want to engage with them. There are many theories which are based on stereotypes of young people as the digital generation. One of these is the idea that young people are already hardwired in some way to the digital age, in that they know nothing else. And this is sometimes used as an excuse for adults not to engage. Somehow the idea that I can call myself a technophobe and that therefore I don't need to bother and that young people might know more than I. There is an assumption that the digital natives, the net generation, the millennials or Generation Y are more tech savvy than most adults and therefore they don't need to be supported. Research by Tim Davis in 2008 identified that whilst this might appear to be the case, actually young people's skills and awareness is often very superficial and they lack the depth and criticality needed to keep themselves safe and to exploit the potential of digital tools. There is also a stereotype of young people being politically unmotivated and not willing to engage in democratic process, often not seeing the point of this, when in fact they're carrying around the most powerful political tools that they could possibly have, often in their pockets, in the form of a smartphone or an iPod. The JISC definition of digital literacy is that of the capabilities that fit an individual for living, learning and working in a digital society. This is a definition that could be applied to the work of the youth worker in general, of course. The Digital Youth Project in the USA identified these activities as part of the digital and online life of young people. But it is evident from my own research that youth workers are able to work with young people to extend their skills and capabilities way beyond this model and puts it in line with the JISC definition, thus equipping young people with valuable life and social skills. There is a myth that young people don't want youth workers or adults to have a presence in their digital world. But my research found that actually young people expect this type of communication today. It's a norm for them. And they often find it puzzling or frustrating when youth workers can't or won't use Facebook, for example. Facebook is used by significant numbers of young people in the UK, although it's interesting that sites that are about sharing photos and visual images, such as Pinterest and Instagram, are increasing in popularity rapidly, as is Twitter, with its text-like methods of communicating. However, many youth organisations and local authorities prevent or limit access to these tools for youth workers. Social media sites such as Facebook can be used to communicate with young people and to publicise activities. But from the point of view of digital, life and social literacies, youth workers can also support young people to use social media to promote themselves, to campaign and to make their voices heard, even if organisational policy bars them from using such tools. What this would mean is taking a proactive stance on working with young people to develop a critical eye, what Howard Rheingold describes as crap detection, the skills necessary to operate safely, but also effectively and powerfully. These young people were supported to set up, manage and moderate Facebook pages to campaign against cuts in their local services. Awareness of democratic process and how to make one's voice heard is, after all, a mainstay of the youth work curriculum, whether digital or not. We know that social media is powerful. We only have to look at campaigns such as the reintroduction of the Whisper Bar or the successful Twitter campaign against Wonga.com when they were sending out misleading information to students about loans to know that these platforms could be incredibly useful to us. Youth workers should be grabbing hold of them, making as much use as possible and getting young people to shout loud about the positive things that they do in their lives. What my research found was that this is how youth workers are engaging digitally, if they're engaging digitally at all. Often it was about access to Wi-Fi and internet, and sometimes that is also about machinery, although young people very often have more powerful machines in their pockets in the form of smartphones. A bit less of the work is to do with awareness raising, safety, moderation, skills, and other digital literacy related issues. As we go higher up the triangle, the wider potential for campaigning, networking, communication, and raising awareness on democratic process is often underexploited, and youth workers don't seem to have twigged about how they could be using these tools in a much more effective way. At the top of the triangle, we have young people doing things for themselves and promoting their own voice and really making a difference. And this can really be seen on sites such as the British Youth Council or other organisations where young people really have ownership. I believe that Facebook and other social media sites can be used to enhance the digital life and social literacies of young people, and that they are highly compatible with youth work values and underpinning philosophies. This means that organisations, institutions and practitioners need to get on board, because they're missing a trick if they don't. By not engaging digitally, we're not doing young people any favours, nor taking advantage of these powerful tools.